The Slovene art and wider public became familiar with the Slovene painter Goran Horvat, born 24th January 1955, in the 70s and 80s as an original, powerful, and prophetic creator of images predicting the end of contemporary, nature-alienated civilization. He has used his fiery ability and imagination ruthlessly to hold up a mirror to man and the contemporary world. He has depicted a world of horror and catastrophe in which man and all on Earth and in space, animals, the air, plants, water, soil, the planets, disintegrates in a terrible conflagration of self-destruction. The relentless mirror conjures a warning which is simultaneously a cry of opposition for life, light, and joy. In 1986, the artist began an almost presumptuous grand plan in a search for some exit from the imminent catastrophe, to summarize the entire Bible in 300 paintings. After 3 years of intensive work demanding exceptional creative, psychological, and physical effort, a conclusive artistic opus has resulted, consisting of 157 paintings measuring 70 by 50 centimeters on the theme of the Old Testament, and 143 paintings based on the New Testament. After countless editions, printings, and translations, the Bible remains the world's most widely circulated book. Even today, a translation of the Bible often marks the beginning of literacy for many languages. According to the most recent data of the British Bible Society, it has been translated into exactly 1,907 languages. It is therefore understandable that, in view of its wide circulation and, above all, its religious, cultural, and historical significance, the Bible has sparked the imagination of artists over the centuries and challenged them to come to grips with its themes and messages. Nevertheless, in the entire history of art, it is hard to find as comprehensive, complete, and integrated a biblical opus as Goran Horvat has created. These 300 paintings are not, of course, a uniform distribution of illustrations of the Bible, contextually or chronologically. They are chosen on the basis of what most stimulated the artist's personal and artistic interpretation. His choice is based on 2 elements, on actions and events, and on molding the subconscious and dream visions. The main characteristic of his art, drama, is based on the artistic features of these 2 orientations. Goran Horvat loves movement and contrast. He has the capacity to impress motion and dynamism even on a peaceful scene. This basic feeling for drama is apparent, firstly, in the choice of motif. It should be clear that the painter did not read the Bible as a believer searching for inspiration for his faith, or as a theologian seeking illumination of his thoughts about God. He read it as an artist, and specifically as the artist Goran Horvat, not as Jože Cjuha or Franz Michelic. Above all, he chose themes that were close to his artistic nature. Believers and theologians will be disappointed unless they bear this in mind. The statement about the 2 basic constituents of the artist's personality, dynamism and a dreamlike, visionary quality, brings us to considerations of style. Even someone with only average familiarity with art will immediately recognize that the artist achieves drama with expressionist line and color scales. His drawing is not like that of Matisse or Malèche, in which the figure is drawn with an unbroken and even a rather thin line, but is a lively, agitated, unequal stroke, which is nevertheless crisp and clear without the looseness of hesitation or blur. The graphic skeleton of the painting is always totally clear and is the main supporting element of the composition. That is characteristic of Expressionism. The colors and their shades are also mainly expressionistic. Violets and greens predominate, and even the blue has a green cast, and they are put on quickly and precisely, expressively. A surreal component is linked organizationally to this expressionist element, heralding the subconscious and the dream world and expressed, for example, in the clouds or the waves of the sea. Finally, he also uses the surroundings in which the scenes are set to add drama. Here, on the water, on the earth, and in the sky, his artistic imagination is set entirely free, and so the clouds and waves are also often beasts and specters. He is overjoyed when he can paint dragons or devils in animal likeness. In view of all this, it seems to me that Goran Horvat is directly related as a painter to Grunwald and El Greco, who were the forerunners of the Expressionists, with the Fauvists, Rualt and Vlaminsk, and through German color expressionism with the Blauer Reiter group. On the other hand, he is of course also related to Hieronymus Bosch, Dali, and of course with his father, Jože Horvat Jaki. I said related. In other words, it is not an accusation of imitation or dependence, but only the orientation of artistic talent. It is not a judgment, but a critique of style. Here it is necessary to start talking about a certain duality which is apparent in almost all the pictures, about the contrast between the scene presented in the frame or the surrounding in which it is set. The difference is in the style. The scene itself is closer to authenticity. The surrounding, especially the sky and sea, is more expressionist, surrealistic. For many centuries, religious motifs predominated in art. The church and churchgoers were the main commissioners of works of art, and artists drew inspiration primarily from the Bible. So, a stable iconography was created over the centuries, and artists had at hand particular references which minutely described and regulated what individual people looked like, even up to the shape and color of their hair and clothing, and what kind of setting was appropriate. Goran Horvat could not, of course, completely ignore this tradition. I think that he has skillfully avoided imitation, though not to the point of erasing the resemblance and blurring clarity. So it seems to me that this duality between the style of the scene and the surrounding is more apparent than real. In other words, even in painting people, the artist is sufficiently independent and faithful to his own style and personal vision of the world.